MPs are calling for advertisements for unhealthy food to be banned before the 9 o'clock watershed on television and for full sugar drinks to be taxed at 20%. The measure to tackle obesity has been put forward by the Health Select Committee. It's chaired by the MP, Dr. Sarah Wollaston.
We need bold and brave action across a number of areas. So it's not just about things like a sugary drinks tax, it's about exercise and education, about the kind of impulse buy purchases, and there's deals on very cut price junk food. There are lots of ways that we could try and tackle this, but we felt that having a tax on sugary drinks would just help to nudge people into making a healthier choice.
Rob Lyons is campaigns manager at Action on Consumer Choice. He's in our central London studio. Very good afternoon to you. Now, even the MPs in their report accept that dealing with childhood obesity, all obesity, is a complex issue, but might taxing sugary drinks be one step towards changing things a bit?
Well, I think that it has the effect of, one, making everybody who wants to enjoy a sugary drink pay extra, even though the vast majority of them will not be affected by issues of obesity and diabetes. And secondly, by such a flat tax, this is the same price whatever your income, it's regressive. It hits the incomes of the poorest people in society more than the wealthiest. And actually, it's towards the poorer end of the population, you see people consuming more of these drinks will actually have a bigger impact on those sections of society than on the wealthiest.
But people will be saying, well, exactly the same thing applies to cigarettes, but if something's bad for you, it's bad for you and you should be discouraged.
Well, I mean, as it happens, I think cigarette taxation is also completely overdone as well. But because I'm from Action on Consumer Choice, and we believe in more choice for smoking and vaping and food and drink. But I think that if we want to do something about obesity, we better make sure that the policies that we are proposing actually don't have very serious negative side effects, and make sure that they're actually effective as well. So, for example, something like exercise, giving children more opportunity to exercise, is a good thing in itself, and it will undoubtedly make them healthier, even if they don't lose an ounce in weight, because exercise has very wide benefits. Whereas on the other hand, things like advertising bans and tax increases on sugary drinks will actually have lots of negative consequences without very much effect on how fat the population is.
OK, well, let's leave out the taxing. How would an advertising ban have a negative consequence? What, people would be upset that they wouldn't see the advertisements? Why would they be upset?
Well, because first of all, I think it's wrong to restrict the right of companies to advertise their products to us. If they are legal.
All companies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fair enough. But also, you have to remember that a lot of these TV programmes, are funded by advertising, on every other channel apart from the BBC, and therefore to take that funding away from these TV programmes is going to start having an impact on television itself.
All right.
It has had an impact on children's television when the original ban was imposed a few years ago. OK, well,
I mean, we're getting into the wider argument. You touched on it earlier there about nanny statism and stuff. So, so you think that cigarettes and alcohol should be allowed to advertise again? Maybe even guns?
Well, I do think that legal products should be allowed to be advertised. So I can go into any shop and I can go and buy cigarettes and alcohol. So it's just very, very bizarre that those things are not allowed, have such heavy restrictions on them in terms of when they can be advertised. So I think we should have a lot more faith in people to be able to see something and judge for themselves whether it is appropriate for them to buy it and to consume it. And I think that in most cases, people do show very, very good judgment about these things. So, for example...
I just want to interrupt there because people will be saying this. Well, it's all very well if you're talking about adults, although perhaps maybe not even adults, not all adults, but for children. Fizzy drinks, a lot of children are the main consumers of them, and this is what the committee's been talking about. Surely 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, they should be protected.
Well, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds have their diets determined for them by their schools and their parents, so they don't have very much free choice about it at all. And as for teenagers, well, if you really think that banning advertising of drinks is going to stop them charging into corner shops on the way to and from school and buying sweets and fizzy drinks, I think you're going to be sadly disappointed by the failure of this policy.
Interesting debate, Mr. Lyons. Thank you very much indeed. Good to talk to you. Rob Lyons there from Action on Consumer Choice.